How do everyone, and good evening to you all. Just a quick update on a story I covered about 2 weeks ago, which I will put the link down below for you if you want to have a look at that for the full story. But basically, it's where a GP, formerly of Haven, was to stand trial for sexual assault against multiple patients. This included a cancer patient who, if memory serves me correctly, did go on to tragically die before she was able to go to court with this case. Anyway, to get straight to the point, Mohan Babu, the former GP, has been found guilty. The manager of Emsworth. This was by a jury of 4 people, a jury of 12, sorry, of 4 offences of sexual assault against 3 women. Although it must be said that he was not found guilty on 3 other offences against 2 women. Now, I have to say that when I first spoke about this case, I did say that I would be incredibly surprised if it wasn't a guilty verdict from this. That simply being due to the fact that none of these victims previously knew each other. So that meant the idea that these people could have fantasized these stories up or conspired with each other to try and wreak some sort of revenge against the former doctor to almost zero. As I say, I'll link in the report from this ruling today from the Hampshire Police website below as well for you to look at that. But as I say, it was incredibly unlikely that this man would not have been found guilty, simply down to the amount of overlap between the cases and just how they were all describing very similar things. And for people who've never met each other to describe very similar stories, showing a very similar pattern of behaviour, it's almost 0% chance of that being possible without having met each other. But anyway, this story itself also brings me on to more issues within the NHS. I'll only keep this brief. But the first is a recent report that's just come out that there's been reported 20,000 assaults of a sexual nature against mental health patients and members of staff who work within the mental health part of the NHS. And this has been since 2019 that these reports have been happening. It does appear that the NHS has been trying to keep this covered up as well. In 2019 as well, a Freedom of Information request was also made, and it did reveal that 60% of all sex assaults on patients are committed by foreign trained doctors. So that isn't to say that people who are, say, foreign but trained in Britain are in that 60%. I believe it is purely people who are trained overseas and then move to the UK to become medical professionals. This is just absolutely crazy as well, especially considering that only less than a third of doctors are foreign trained. So that would appear to be that foreign doctors are more than twice as likely to commit these kinds of crimes. I think it's 4 times more likely that they are as a percentage, even though it's twice as much. It's half the amount of them are actually of the doctors. So I believe that it is four times as likely to commit sexual assaults against you. Now, this reeks of the same issue that we've seen with the grooming gang scandal, where we have professionals covering up very serious crimes, probably for a whole plethora of reasons, notwithstanding that it's going to be people not wanting to rock the boat, not wanting to be labelled racist, and not wanting to risk the pensions, because obviously they're more than happy to sacrifice the little people on the bonfire of their own careers ladder. I'm also very concerned, though, that obviously with how many foreign doctors do come from certain communities which are prevalent within committing certain crimes. I am concerned that are some of these doctors also linked in with grooming gangs as well, and the people covering up for these crimes. So not only the pervert doctors, but also the enablers who have hidden these crimes within the NHS from wider reporting. Now, obviously, I've got to be very clear. I have no evidence that there is any link between grooming gangs and the cover-up of them with any of these people who've been covering up these particular crimes. But I do feel that the prevalence that we have seen cover-ups happening against young girls, including by people who work within the NHS itself, they have also been involved in covering up these sorts of crimes and turning a blind eye. I do wonder if those sorts of people have also been covering up the crimes that have been happening within the NHS framework itself. I definitely think it warrants looking into at the very least anyway, to see if there is a link between the two. It's just absolutely disgusting. Just a very short video. I'm going to leave it at that. As I say, I'll put links to everything that I've spoken about. So the Hampshire Police report on today's ruling in court, the mental health 20,000 people being sexually assaulted since 2019, and also the 60% of doctors that commit sexual assault being foreign trained doctors. Those three things will all be shared below, plus the reporting that I did, the video that I did on the previous family GP, Mr. Babu, as well. That will also be shared below. So anyway, we'll leave it at that. If you've enjoyed that, please like, subscribe, put a comment below, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye bye.